So, my Hey Sis fam, it's your girl Yezzi Yezzir, and we've got a very special guest. She is on the hit theatre show going on right now called Shifters. Her artwork as a photographer has been displayed in many places, one being the V&A Museum. And we are here right now with the multidisciplinary artist that is Heather Agyepong.
Hello, hello.
Hello, how are you doing?
Really well. I feel great. I feel really well, yeah. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Honestly, I'm just in awe right now because I've actually had the pleasure of watching Shifters.
When did you come?
I came on the 27th of August, actually.
No way. Oh, wow,
Yes.
wow.
Yes, I've had it on my list for a long time. And when I tell you, it's literally gone viral a couple of times on TikTok. You can't say you haven't heard of it or seen it at this point. So that actually brings me to my first question, actually. When you actually got the script and you were reading the character and probably contemplating whether or not, okay, do I go for this or not? Did you know it was going to be the success it is today?
No, I had no idea. I think the thing that attracted to me was the writing is brilliant, and you're seeing two dark-skinned leads. They were both Black people in love, and that just felt really refreshing. So that kind of like pricked my ear up when I first saw it. That's how they described. And Bene's writing was the thing. I thought, this is amazing, but we didn't know it would be this. People would resonate so much with it.
Honestly, being a South Londoner myself, okay, Southeast in the building.
Yes.
I was just watching, I was like, this is my kind of bants. This is my kind of language, which I think is the reason why I was able to see myself in your character. When it came to your role, what is it that you did to prepare yourself for it?
Well, Bene knew that those both characters inside out. So it was really just having a conversation with her back and forth and trying to kind of, because there was a lot of drafts because it's new writing. So just really trying to understand the world and what it means to be like a Congolese woman. And I'm from South London, so that understanding like those colloquialisms and things like that. So just kind of a collaboration with both of us.
I was actually going to say, I know you to be a Ghana babe.
Yes.
So what did you have to do to, give us that Congolese spirit? Because I saw you dancing on the stage when I came to watch. I was like, yeah, she's giving us the hip action. She's bringing us there. But was there much of a difference that you had to make when it came to assuming your role now as a Congolese woman?
No, that's such a great question. Bene is a Congolese woman, very proud Congolese woman. So it was having conversations about like music and particular influences that she remembers that could inform, because you don't want to just give a general take of someone in Africa, right? You want to be specific. So she's a British Congolese, so understanding what those two cultures and what that means. So Bene was great helping me with that.
So, because I was just thinking, okay, how do you kind of not give too much of who you are already as a person and kind of accidentally seep into the role? Because I've seen it happen sometimes, but obviously when I had to do my background search, I was like, hold on, she's Ghanaian. I was like, you convinced me so much so. And when we are watching it, and I'm just speaking for myself and everyone else, because I know they feel the same way, the chemistry is a different kind of dynamic. Because we kind of get thrown into the, traditional rom-com and it's all like ooey and that type of thing. Do you know what I mean? So how did you get to the point of developing such great chemistry with your co-star played by Tosin Cole?
I think Tosin and I were very willing to commit to the vulnerability needed to play the characters. I think it's more that because we know that these characters are incredibly vulnerable and you often don't see these kind of vulnerabilities played on stage. We just wanted to have a commitment to that, commitment to the love, commitment to the vulnerability. And I think that's why our chemistry works so well, because we're just open to going there. So I think it's just commitment to the work, really. And we get on.
Have you known each other before this? Like, have you come across each other?
I've never met before. We just had the auditions were chemistry tests, so they were just, usually you have an audition by yourself but because it's just two of us on stage pretty much all the time, we had chemistry tests from the start of auditioning, and I think it was just trying to find people who kind of gave the same as Tosin gave, and it just kind of worked from there.
Oh, because I could have, when I was watching, I thought, they probably know each other from before. That's why they were kind of just riffed off each other so naturally. Because for people that haven't seen it, obviously you've been in plays before, you've done TV, you've done theatre, and you get to lean on an ensemble cast. You've got different characters coming in, but it's just you two. And in a good way, I forgot it was just you two. And then I kind of came back into it and I was like, hold on, you've kept my attention for so long. I've got a short attention span. That's social media for you. So to do that, no intervals, I just got to say, you being in one of the most, I mean, arguably hardest art forms to be in, how do you handle having to prepare for something like that? And then the next day, you're under the spotlight with reviews and people having their opinions on things. When it's not gone in your favor, what do you do to handle that?
That's a great question. So I don't read any reviews. I don't read any reviews on my art or TV, like anything I've done, because I used to do that. I think I did that once right when I started. And even if someone says a good thing, it can kind of, you can get into your head, you get a bit of a tailspin. And the thing about acting is that if you become self-conscious, it really affects your concentration on in the show. So I have to like basically pretend that no one is looking at me, no one is around. All I see is Dre, played by Tosin. So I just don't read anything, even if it's good. I don't want to hear any of it, and I just to kind of center myself and that I'm not being influenced by like outside voices, I guess.
That is such a good practice to take. I need to follow your lead.
Yeah, don't look at the comments. Don't go on. I don't want to see any of it. Yeah.
Yeah, because the trolls be trolling online.
Always. Like, and there'll always be an opinion, especially when it's work that often hasn't. Bené's the third Black British woman to ever have her work transferred. So there's got to be opinions about the play, and people are superly entitled, but it's not my business. My business is just to portray Des as best as possible, and that's it. And the rest is like nothing to do with me, you know.
That is so true. When we're talking about you dealing with criticism and stuff like that, do you find that, because you've got a really good method when it comes to the acting side of things, but when it comes to your art form with photography and being in galleries and things like that, are you still not looking at the reviews, or do you feel like you need to in order to develop better work?
That's a great question. I've got a whole bunch of mentors, so often older Black women who I value their opinion, who've been in the game for a really long time, and I value their like feedback and kind of constructive criticism. So I'm not just working in a silo. I listen to like people who I respect. But yeah, I never read any reviews or anything, because I just know what my temperament is. If I see one bad thing, it will give me a tailspin, or if I see one good thing, I will also overthink it. So I just have people who are older than me who can kind of like feed into developing my practice a bit better.
Okay. And again, I need to follow your lead, honestly. After this, I'm going to just mute wherever I have to mute. And when we're coming back to shifters, and this is the fan in me creeping out, yeah, and I'm going to come close, girl. When it comes to Des and Dre, you left us on the biggest cliffhanger ever. But if you could, ideally, how would you like that story to end? Because it's kind of scandalous. You've got yourself a man.
You can't ask. People have asked me this so many times. I'm not going to say it. People think, was it all a dream? Like, did that not happen? Did Des just come from nowhere, or is she coming back? I don't want to say. I think it's up to the audience. Even Bené like keeps it vague, the writer. So we don't really know if she did come back or if that was just like Dre's kind of imagination. So whatever you think, that's what it is.
Oh, okay. It also, it's giving could be a series at some point. We could get a film.
It is, yeah. She's developing it. It's going to be a TV show. She's developing it now.
Let me contain my excitement, because that is the best news. Film and TV wise, it's so good to hear that, and especially to see us in spaces and take on characters that have a lot more layers to it, especially when it comes to having insight in that Black British experience.
Absolutely, yeah.
Thank you so much for even displaying it in that way, because we needed it.
Of course, right. It's happening. It's moving. We're moving in the right direction, though.
No, definitely. I actually want to tap into your work in mental health, because you did say that you wanted to reflect that in your art. And can you please share a pivotal moment yourself where on the journey to mental health, it helped you shape your approach to health and well-being in that case?
The first project I did was called Too Many Blackamoors, and it was about problematizing the trope of Black women being independent and strong and resilient. And I made this work about vulnerability and softness. And I remember it was the first project I ever made, and I had a sea of Black women like message me about how the work resonated. And I think it's that thing about sometimes when you share your healing journey, it can be really empowering for other people. So it kind of made me realize how my art could not just help me, but also help other people. So I think that was really a pivotal time when I made my first project. And that's why I keep making work around mental health and visibility and like creating multiple Black female stories. So probably that, I would say.
Oh, wow. I don't really get to ask this question to a lot of people, but I wanted to ask you, what does softness mean to you?
Oh, softness. Even what I just did then, that kind of deep exhale, your bra is off. I'm not that voice in my head, that critic is silent. I'm just being gentle with myself and centering myself in my own life. I feel like sometimes we have a tendency, sometimes Black women too, we're really good at centering other people, like brilliant at it, but centering ourselves can feel like a waste of time or like we put ourselves like low on the priority. So for me, it's recentering myself and asking like, what do I need? That feels like softness to me.
Oof, I felt that so much because I couldn't agree more with you. There's something that you mentioned that screamed at me. It didn't speak to me, it screamed at me. And it's when you were saying that you want to make sure that you tackle things like invisibility. Mm-hmm. And I wanted you to talk us through what are the actionable steps, because there's someone at home, whether they are in the arts themselves, they're at work, they're in maybe a relationship or family. What type of actionable steps can someone take to not be invisible, but to have their voice heard?
It's really great. I mean, I'm in my dressing room now and I'll show you. I just have like quotes everywhere surrounding me. Rest in peace to my shame. Like I'm quite a visual person, so I need to have like things which shame is the birthplace of perfection. So I have like these affirmation words which kind of surround me. And also every time I go on that stage, I tell myself, Heather, take up space, because it's so easy to feel like, I don't want to like, it's not I don't want to impinge on anyone, or it's just like a learned behavior of like keeping small as to survive. So I'll just think telling yourself like taking up space and knowing that the changes that you make could affect your children or it could affect people watching me. So like the impact of like words of affirmation. So that for me, words have been really important in terms of like changing how I'm thinking, and therapy probably. So therapy.
Okay.
Speaking over oneself.
That therapy one, actually, because some people have been talking about the fact that it's important to have someone that looks like you. Do you feel that's something that should be significant when someone's actually getting into therapy?
Yeah, so for me, all of my therapists have been Black women, but I think it also is just someone who understands their experience. So someone, like I think all psychotherapists should understand the nuances of different cultures and people who they're talking to, so they don't feel like alienated. I think the standard should be like, you can there is an understanding of how culture and upbringing affects the way mental health. So for me, I've always needed a Black woman, but for some people, as long as that person has an understanding or an empathetic ear, I think that's all some people need. So it depends, I guess.
Okay, then yeah, you're giving me more faith, because I've dabbled into it, had a few sessions. And I thought to myself, do I really need it? Is this something that I need continuously, or is it just kind of one moment in one's life? But it's something that you probably have continuously just to keep steady, I imagine.
So I think there's something about having someone who you could like speak out and process thoughts, because I think sometimes we find it difficult to process, and the therapist is just a great way for you to process and like make better decisions, I think.
Oh, definitely. I agree with you so much. There's this influx going on in the West End. You know it because you're one of the movers and shakers going on right now. But we've had this influx where they've come into the community, our community, and they're saying, hey, why don't you come over and watch more theatre and whatnot? How do you feel about that wave of telling Black and brown people, come over to the West End and enjoy yourselves over here? It's not everyday club and pub and bar.
You know, it's interesting. It feels like us as a culture, like theatre and storytelling has been like ingrained in us from, like, that's part of our culture, like griots and storytelling and like this idea of oral history. So sometimes I think theatre makes you think that, oh, that's not for us, but that's in our culture, how we tell stories, even how we communicate in this sort of like theatrical way. I think that's very much part of who we are. So me being in the West End also feels like, of course, like Africans have been telling stories for millennia, so it feels like we're kind of just taking our place as one of the many storytellers. So I feel like the space is ours. Do you know what I mean? The audience, I think that they've never had such a diverse audience ever before, because everyone's showing out, like, because we all resonate with the way we tell stories. So yeah, it's always been for us, to be fair.
Well, that's so, yeah, it's true. It's true. When we talk about history and culture, we've been storytelling there. It's not a day that my dad hasn't got a story for me, honestly. Exactly. So in your opinion, I know there's still a lot of work that needs to be done, but as a professional, what else can we do to encourage inclusivity in our communities?
Oh gosh. I think in terms of like art and culture, I think it's always showing up to stuff. So when things happen, like when that TV show happens, when that theatre thing happens, when that event happens, going and showing up, I think that is the thing that allows culture and people to keep giving money and producing the stuff. I think sometimes these amazing things happens and people don't show up, and then it just doesn't happen again, because unfortunately money talks. So I think it's showing up to those things, and hopefully that will things around inclusivity and more kind of Black and brown stories will keep happening if people just show up to it.
So true. I wanted to ask Heather, because you've given us so many golden nuggets and blessed us with your time. What's coming up for you? What's next? Any exhibitions we should look out for? Any more plays, TV, film? Because we're rooting for you, we're coming out. Wherever you're at, we're following.
Yeah, so there's a short film coming out called Sylvia. That's part of the London Film Festival, which comes out next month. There's a Netflix film called Joy about the creation of IVF. That comes out, I think it's at London Film Festival too, but I think it comes out on Netflix maybe October, November. And I've got a solo exhibition at the start of next year at a place called Joy or Wham Gallery in East London, and another solo exhibition next year. So yeah, very busy, running around like a headless chicken, but good things coming. Yeah,
of course, booked and busy.
Booked
and busy. I absolutely love that. Heather, as your career continues to grow, you've played many roles. You've represented not only just yourself but us in your artwork as well. And my last question for you is that, with all the things that you've done, what would you want your legacy to be?
Ooh, wow. Legacy.
Take your time. I don't want to rush.
No, I think it's around empathy. The work I make, I feel that I want me to be known as an empathetic person, and that I've allowed other people to be seen. Because I make work for me to be seen, so I hope it allows other people to be seen and like validated in some way.
Wow, I love that. I love that so much. Just make my heart warm. Thank you so much, Heather. You have just given so much to the Hey Sis UK family. I have been your girl, Yezzi Yezzir. I'm probably going to see Shifters again. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to keep coming back, and everything else that you've got coming up, I'm literally saving it to whatever list I can on whatever platform.
Bless you.
It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you, and I hope you have a lovely week.
Thank you so much. Thank you, my love.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.